time. You need to,
Yeah.
so I think $120 would have probably been worth it.
Yeah, I went to the National Finals Rodeo, which was really interesting.
Fun.
Rodeo people are really great.
I love it, but there at the rodeo, you know, I used to live in Vegas, and every year at the rodeo, there was always like a hoedown thing every year, which is super fun.
And they have this cowboy Christmas, they call it, which is essentially just a gift. So imagine the Las Vegas Convention Center and you're talking like the whole cowboy and Western stuff, like as far as the eye could see on 2 whole floors. It was incredible. I spent way too much money.
Yeah. Well, Vegas, I feel like just in and of itself will do that.
It's like, I have a cowboy hat, right? And
you
on the
need
way
another.
there, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna wear my cowboy hat on the plane. It's gonna be a pain in the butt. And then while I'm there, I thought, I should really be wearing a cowboy hat, like all the guys who wear
So you
cowboy
gotta
hats.
get
So I bought a cowboy hat and I had to carry that back on the plane.
Ah. It's good. It's good. It's good. So it is 6:45, but you were a short quorum. So sorry, you can't start yet.
Yeah.
There's nobody online?
Nope, not at the moment.
Who do we have verification that's gonna be here?
I'm so flat. I'm so emo
I
flat
would
right
imagine
now.
Alan is gonna be
Couldn't
here.
tell you. Let's see. Alan was supposed to be in person. Rab was gonna be virtual and Macy as of Friday had not heard from Melody, Chris, or Trisha.
Melody said she'd probably go.
That's kind of what I figured from our
So
side.
who do we need?
So we're
for-
waiting for Alan
Or,
or
or
no
Rap.
one at all.
Or no,
Yeah,
Rap.
Rab.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
so.
I guess I can text
Just
him.
wrap. Yeah.
You want me to? You want to? Are you doing it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Got it.
I'll text him.
I'm going to New Zealand on Wednesday.
Ooh,
Kind of a traveling guy, aren't you?
I'd like to,
That's great.
yeah.
that's cool.
Are you like officially retired and everything?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, cool.
Although my wife is not,
Oh,
although she won't have a job come Wednesday, so.
What?
Well, so she's on a contract thing,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and the contract's just ending.
Yeah.
And, so frankly, I'm surprised it took them this long, because like sometimes they hire people on these contracts and don't give them anything to do. And they're sort of like,
I know.
so she really had like, they didn't give her anything to do, and she was like, she was being paid full time and she was working like a third time or something like that.
No
Yeah.
kidding. So is she gonna pick up another contract or
Well,
is she
she'd
gonna
like
take a
to,
break?
but she'd like to, well, as soon as we get back from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long are you there?
Let's see, we leave Wednesday and we come back the 6th of January.
So nice.
Like 3 weeks.
It's like
lovely.
almost, yeah. Yeah, but we're not really staying in what people think of as New Zealand. We're flying in, we're getting on this boat. And the boat then goes to these remote islands south of New Zealand, called the New Zealand sub-Antarctic Islands.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
So,
Yeah.
because my wife is a huge penguin fan. And there are 3 species of penguins that you only find, well, I guess you could find them in the water lots of places, but you only find them on the land on these islands. So,
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I want to be like you when I grow up. So go travel everywhere.
after this, I don't have anything planned until like May,
Really?
so
Oh, I'm sure you'll come up with something else in
Well,
between.
depends. It also depends if she gets a job. If she doesn't get a
Right.
job, I'm a lot more flexible.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
pick up and go kind of a thing.
Well, yeah, but then again, the
The
dogs.
dog.
Yeah.
I know.
I usually get, if I have a few weeks, I can find someone,
Yeah.
but
Did you ping Alan?
there's an
Yeah,
app.
and Chris and
That's
Patricia
pretty
just-
good.
What is
I
it?
just wrote
Called
it
Rover.
again. And just so you know, we don't have quorum at the moment.
And then
Hopefully it makes them
reviews and
feel
stuff
that.
like So you can see what other people have said about these people,
Or we
The
don't
problem
have
is like,
meetings.
every time I find someone I like, they all get a dog.
They get a dog?
They all get dogs, and
Oh,
the thing is, one of my dogs, 2 of my dogs are not that great with other dogs.
Oh,
Oh, you know
So,
what?
there we go.
I might need to, because I need to give up the time for Dawn to prepare her interview evaluation.
I think we have a quorum. Do we have a quorum?
we have four
All
minutes.
right,
Yes, I.
Hello?
Miranda,
We're good.
will we commence the meeting?
Please.
Okay. let
Okay.
me hit record.
Are we online?
Yep.
Can we get like the TV turned on at least so we can see?
Nope, because I don't have the cords to get to
Okay.
the
But we
TV.
don't have anybody online, do we?
We don't have anyone. on.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could turn it around for you.
No, I just like to see if there's people
Okay,
online.
next time I'll have them bring a cord.
You know, I could always just do it on my
Yeah,
computer.
but
too.
it's easy. They just don't pull out the cord. They pull out the bare minimum.
Okay. It is December 18th at 6:50 PM. My name is Rich Orman. I'm one of the co-chairs of the SAB. I'm calling this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can you please do the roll call?
Happy to.
Co-chair Rich Orman,
Here.
Alan Apt,
Here.
Trustee Nicole Sterling.
Here.
Maddie Woods.
Here.
Please note for the record that currently absent are Melody Rab, Chris and Patricia, and also in the room is Leah Haney, School Coordinator, Miranda Fisher, Town Administrator.
Thank you. And just to let everybody know, I'm going to ask that two items be added to sort of the other items or other discussion issues. One being these emails regarding the Old Town Shop site that we received, and another one being just to discuss what, if any, presence people from the board want to have at the Board of Trustees meeting tomorrow regarding the issues that are relevant to what we do. So, well, we can discuss those at the end, but I am going to want to, I think that's appropriate for those two things. Okay, discussion items. The capstone project. Who can, do we want to just go straight into who can attend this meeting?
Sure. We are finalists.
Hey, this is Chris.
Oh, hey, Chris.
So it sounds like we have a date of the 2nd of February.
And the networking event is required for the capstone project, so we need at least one person, preferably two, if we can.
Where is this at?
It's in Boulder, but they haven't released the exact. Will it see you?
I'll plan on going. If no one else wants to.
I'll be there with you.
I have a conflict standing meeting with a grant that I'm writing, so I can't go anymore.
Oh, no worries.
You gotta be able
You
to.
would both kindly RSVP through the link.
I'll do it right now.
There in the agenda. And then there is an optional video due January 12th, which Melody did. So if anyone is willing to take that on, we can ask Melody later, but it does help our application to have that submitted.
What type of video is this?
I remember last year, they just kind of, they talked about it, and I believe they submitted like some, or the organization gave some suggestions of what you could talk in the video, like answering some questions, if I remember last time, Leah.
Yeah, it's a short 3 to 5 minute video so that students can learn more about you and your organization as well as the project itself ahead of the networking events. This video is a great way to showcase your organization and for students to get to know you a bit and help you avoid some repetitive conversations during they're unable to attend. This is a good way to have them connect on the project.
Do we have? Here. Do we have the one that Melody made last year available? Just so we can get an idea of what we submitted in the past?
I don't either.
Okay,
But Melody,
okay.
I mean, this is something maybe we could ask Peter to help. Have you ever mentioned it to Peter yet? I have not with it.
okay. But I have lots of things on it.
Imagine we could do like a mix of in-person videos and also like recorded videos if people do them on their computers and send them, so we don't have to get people together.
That's a good idea.
If we have like a question that some people on this committee could answer and record themselves answering, or set up like short video meetings to have a conversation.
I mean, 3 to 5 minutes is a very short video. Yeah.
Yeah. And if there's like other videos just of around town, that might be good.
Yeah.
What do they call it? B-roll for in between.
When is that? I'm sorry, Lee. When is that due again?
January 12th.
Well, I should have, if people want to send me little videos, I can try to get some B-roll and put something together.
Sure.
Yeah, so I could even get my little drone, fly it over the town or something, so. All right, seems like that one is covered.
So Rich, I just signed up on the link and it says only one person needs to do it.
I just signed up on the
Oh,
link.
okay, we both did it.
Okay.
Great, done. We've doubled up. Now they know we're both coming.
All right, so next item on the agenda, oh, we've already, A and D we've done. Okay, sustainability coordinator update.
And Leah, I'm just gonna need you to speak up. Just
Sure.
My computer's having a hard time picking up everyone in the room.
Okay. This is the last meeting of the year and of my contract, so let me know if you have any questions, but of course I will leave notes with Miranda in my absence. So our partnership with Partners in Energy and Excel will be paused for the next few months for the most part, but they are helping us with a few projects. One is outreach materials, going out to businesses to promote PACE programs, Excel rebates, and our upcoming styrofoam and plastic bag ban, which the state is initiating on the first of the year, but we won't have that in effect until after July 1st. But we're going to promote that for the next 6 months. And PI is funding postage for that out to businesses, and then Peter will work on a campaign communicating that to residents separately. And then PI is also providing an energy audit for our water treatment facility to look at renewable energy opportunities and efficiency upgrades. So Andrew Bliss and PI will be working on that over the next few months. And some of this is redundant, so I'll skip that. The IRA and CPRG climate pollution reduction grant updates. Dr. Cog and the Colorado Energy Office are finalizing their application strategies right now. They haven't quite nailed it down, but it should be most likely around building electrification for low-income disadvantaged communities specifically, some for medium income, but mostly low income, and then workforce development. And then the Colorado Energy Office most likely will supplement their funding for the HERA and HOMES program, which are home energy and efficiency rebates. So, since it's an existing program, just adding some funding so people can take better advantage of that. We are also technically eligible to apply for separate funding, which I've talked with Tim from the EPA about a little bit, but in meeting with the CEO and their grant advisors, you know, they said that we could apply for our own separate grant funding in case Dr. Cog and CEO don't get awarded these grants, which seems unlikely. There's 3 on the table. You know, they'll probably get at least 1 or 2 of those, hopefully all 3. But the lift for us to apply for our own federal grant is really enormous. They advised maybe a regional collaborative application. Gilpin County was interested but is not applying for this particular grant. Lyons has not responded. Boulder County is not applying. Most municipalities are not applying for funding outside of Dr. Cog and CEO. So, you know, I'm happy to discuss that more, but it seems like we don't really have the capacity to put together an enormous federal grant. Plus, we don't have the greenhouse gas data for our municipalities separately. So I'm inclined to say that we pass on that. But there is also the community change grant, which is under the IRA, but not CPRG. And we may pursue a regional application with Gilpin County. That one is not due until fall of next year, so we have much more time. And we would know what is awarded through CPRG from the larger regional level, so that we know what we would apply for at that point. So that's our strategy right now. CC4CA, Sierra Club, and Lotus Sustainability, which is a consultant, are all helping put together the applications just to give a scope of the grant application for the CPRG implementation grant. Yeah, it's very, very lengthy, and I can share that with the SAB board before I head out too. It's just a draft application right now, but just to give an idea of what they're applying for. I probably need to speak up.
So Chris actually isn't on anymore. He was only on for quorum's sake, but he's not actually available tonight.
Oh,
So he's off.
So if someone is here to establish a quorum and they leave.
Well,
Just-
he's a quorum without,
Oh, okay, got it.
right. He jumped off because you have quorum.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Well, not great.
just note for the record, at 7 PM, Chris Larson left.
Oh, he left a lot
Is
longer.
there anyone online?
No, it's just,
He left
It's like the-
approximately at 6:52.
okay.
All right,
Do I still need to speak up because it's recorded?
it's capturing it, so
Okay.
yeah, just keep going with what you're doing.
Sure. For a community solar garden, Pivot Energy, of course, is our new partner, and we only have 3 members signed up, which are myself, Mayor Billy, and Chris Larson. So we, Peter is going to do some more marketing in spring, focused on residents. We did have 34 or so through US Solar, and we can't really communicate with them because we don't have a list of who that is, and they won't release that information, but Peter is going to try and target them anyway, because that program's not online at all. They haven't built the solar garden yet. It's not connected to the grid. And Pivot Energy is already connected. I'm already receiving credits, which is nice.
It's funny, they called me like 5 times.
Pivot Energy? Oh. They're not calling you. Oh, to get you to sign up? Oh. Maybe you should sign up.
Yeah. Ollie, be number 4.
Well, I have solar panels,
Oh, you do? Okay.
so it's kind of superfluous
Sure.
until I get an EV car.
Oh.
And then I need more solar, maybe. Then that makes sense, but right now it doesn't make sense to contract for more solar.
So did you tell them that?
Pardon?
Did you tell them that, Pivot Energy, or they just leave you
I
messages?
didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad they're doing some marketing on our behalf, but we're gonna ramp it up early next year to get some more people.
I believe in the last meeting, you had articulated that there were maybe 8 people signed up.
That's the rooftop solar.
That was rooftop, okay, gotcha. All right.
I'll just get into now.
There you
So
go.
we also have the Solar United Neighbors rooftop solar campaign, which is going great. There were 8, now there's 7. Somehow we lost one along the way. But they just reopened the program because they've increased the capacity for this year. So we may have some other people sign up there too, but they're doing the marketing and outreach for that. And we get a weekly report on how that's going. Someone else will keep track of that while I'm out. And I'll go back. Talked about the grants that we don't know yet if we received the CFI grant through Boulder County. We're still waiting to hear from that. And then we did apply for the environment and sustainability. I don't know when we get notified about that one, but probably will.
January.
Yeah.
You got to just
did
roll.
did someone just join the meeting?
No, sorry, that was me closing.
Okay.
And then zero waste. This is from my last update, but we're still on board to get the in-vessel composter in Q1 of next year, the LED screen and the reuse barn. And then I met with our task technical advisors on our eligibility for waste reduction grants. Unfortunately, the Recycling Resources Economic Opportunity Grant that we were planning to go for this next year will sunset after this round, and we're not eligible to apply for this coming round. However, the Front Range Waste Diversion Grant, which is normally 3 times a year, is something that we can apply for, but we would need to be shovel ready. So that's something that we'll be, working on for quite some time, but we do have some technical assistance on the planning side of that.
So did you say the composter is happening?
It is for sure happening. Yeah, it was slightly delayed. It was supposed to be in by the end of this year. Fitting it into the transfer station has been a challenge, but Boulder County is figuring that out. But it's been purchased. It just hasn't been installed yet, but they told us Q1 of 2024 that it would be up. And then once that's up and we know what the capacity is like and the logistics, then we can start planning programs around that. Hopefully for businesses, that would be the goal, because they haven't been able to really compost like residents have. And Deliver Zero, which is a reusable to-go-ware company. They have like a service where they'll collect your reusable, to-go containers for businesses and wash them and bring them back. And of course, there's a fee for that, but they're interested in expanding their service to Nederland once we have logistics figured out and most importantly, funding, which is where the grant comes in. So that would be something to look at next year once the composter's up. And
So just to understand, so that would that be something along the lines of you go to Uban, Kathmandu or something and you get something, it's in a container.
Mhm.
Do they come and pick it up at your house or do you like take it back to the restaurant?
Most places have receptacles where they can be dropped off, and so we'd have to work that out with them. Obviously, we
Okay.
have critters and things, and so
Yeah,
we don't know how it would work out, but they are expanding into mountain communities. So they said they were interested. They just, we have to have funding for
Are
it.
they already in Boulder? So like, if you had a similar container from up here and you just happen to be going to Boulder for something, you could like couple it with an errand in Boulder.
That's a
If you're not
great
gonna be in
question.
town.
Yeah,
Like if it's I guess universally accepted container.
yeah. I don't know exactly how that works. Because they have a set number of containers per business, I think. And I don't know how to track that, but basically I tried to set up a meeting with her and she said, yes, we'll talk once you have money and, and, a way to track all this.
business here for that? I mean, enough people doing carry out. It's not like we're Denver or something, right? So,
Yeah, they happen in some smaller communities. I think Breckenridge was it one of those? I mean, they have maybe more
They
than we
have,
do.
yeah, triple the or quadruple the amount of people.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if it will work, but I do think it's worth having the conversation with the company.
yeah, it is, but I mean, if you think about it, like, I don't know, maybe like Uban and, to me, Uban and Kathmandu are gonna be the biggest ones and maybe they do a heck of a lot more carry out business than I think, but whenever I go there, I mean, occasionally I carry out and it seems like maybe there's 2 or 3 people
Hmm.
doing it, like,
I'm probably 50% takeout.
Yeah, man, you gotta feel there and you got two.
that's true.
You take
Yeah.
another meal home with you.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
that's true.
And I know during COVID, UC's was doing banner business. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Actually,
Yeah.
Lucy's the one that I was thinking of too.
Really?
Because they can't do compostables well because everything's so soupy and
Yeah.
things like that, but they could do a reusable container that's more sturdy. But of course, the other complication is we have a lot of tourists and would they return that or maybe not? But
Yeah, that's a thought too. I guess,
Is there potential funding through PACE with like the start of the green business program?
there is a little bit of funding, but right now it's only for a food delivery service,
Mhm.
like DoorDash and things like that. So there, maybe in the future they would provide funding for something like that, but it's something we could ask them.
Yeah. Or if like the town could partially help with some of the funding to get it started.
Yeah.
I know Louisville and Lafayette have a lot of new programs, so I'm wondering if they're like kicking in some funding, so then PACE matches them or something.
Yeah, there is some funding through PACE. They're out of money right now. So most of that is on hold, but when we talked to them about it before, they have vouchers for businesses, but not necessarily for the town, but that could change in the future. And I don't know that we have money. Maybe we will. Maybe we will next year to fund that. But we'll probably lean on grants for the most part. But more conversations probably with zero waste because we have not figured out all these moving parts that would possibly make it work. Yeah, anything else about
What's the
that?
status of the electronics recycling?
So that was a proposal from the students and it had a price tag of, I think, $150,000. So right now it's an idea that,
It was a really thorough proposal.
yeah,
And then it says 65 to 140.
Say
Or
that again?
140.
150,000.
Okay.
150,000.
yeah. And so that's just something that we could look at later, but it's not anything that's in play right now. In the meantime, one of the zero waste subcommittee members sent information about Gilbert County's electronic recycling. And so there is that resource a little further down and we'll put that on our site, but we won't probably have our own electronic recycling for quite some time, aside from town cleanup day, of course.
You said Gilpin is doing it.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll have that added to our site here in the next weeks.
They don't want to partner.
Say that again?
They don't want to partner
I don't know.
until we have the money.
Yeah, I think, if we have money to do that, but we'd probably just direct residents down that way since we can't really touch that.
We don't have any casinos.
Yeah, we don't have it. So I don't know. Anything else about zero waste before I continue on? They'll still meet while I'm out as well and keep talking about all these projects. Transportation. Drive Clean Colorado applied for a national grant that we may be included on. We haven't heard back though about whether or not they've received that funding. We did have a minor setback with our EV chargers. Our DC level 3 fast charger will be delayed another 9 to 12 months, unfortunately, due to the electrical that Excel installed not matching the charger that was ordered. And so they have to redo it, and we've requested an extension on the Charge Ahead Colorado grant. We're basically begging them for an extension now, so everyone cross your fingers. Hopefully that all works out. Excel felt very confident that we would be able to get an extension, but we haven't heard back, and I'm gonna call her tomorrow.
Yeah, I was actually thinking she might be on maternity leave and there might be another person we
Oh.
need to send the message to.
Okay,
I'll look.
yeah, I didn't get her out.
Oh, you didn't get out of office? Okay, I do know there's an associate that got assigned to us when she goes on maternity.
Okay,
So perhaps she's not gone yet.
We'll need to make sure to update that in the strategic goals then too.
I don't think it's in.
This is the electric chargers.
Is it part of TAP?
Mhm. I'll check real quick, but we'll have to make sure just to update that if there it is.
does affect our budget. Unfortunately. But we will start charging money for the level 2 next year. Colorado car share does go through, which is in the budget.
So, yeah, we'll make sure we update that in our strategic goals for the BOT to make sure that we capture the timeline.
Yeah, so sometime in
25.
And then it looks like Colorado car share, which was approved in the last SAB meeting, will be going through. We'll find out tomorrow night, right, Amanda? Well. And then, Pace was here again on December 11th. We went to just a couple places. It wasn't a big tour because again, they're out of money for this year. But the community center kitchen, stove is eligible for a rebate in the future, and it's gas right now, so we could potentially convert that to electric in the coming years. Everything else looked great. And then Matt will be back in the spring while I'm on leave and tour without me, and then we'll reconnect again in the summer when I'm back. Rest of this is redundant. And then I met with Teens Inc. about the childcare facility, which we'll talk about in just a second. And I didn't have any concerns about anything from a sustainability perspective based on at least the rough plans that he shared with me, Stephen. And they seem really conscious of the impact on the creek and making sure that that's an accessible walking path and not developed for car traffic or having the building very close to the creek at all. So we'll get to that in just a second, but that, and then I also met with our comprehensive plan advisors to discuss our sustainability measures and what would be included in the next plan from the 2013 plan and our goals coming up. So that is the end of my report. Any questions?
Do they already have a site picked out within the town?
Teens Inc. Or
The daycare center?
Gold.
Cited it within that area?
Do we know the proposed building footprint?
They had a loose plan, but they didn't have any specifics to show me. Yeah, this was on a whiteboard.
What, then the facility is still, facility plans are yet to come?
Yeah.
Because I think we should take a look at those.
Yeah.
Just encourage
Yeah, and do
as
you know,
close to net zero as possible.
yeah, they are, here I can find my notes from my meeting with him. They are including passive solar with the south facing building with LEED standards in mind. They probably won't go for certification, but they're going to follow that. Natural plants, composting, maybe vermicomposting as part of the daycare center, recycling bike racks, conscious about the lighting at night so that it's not light pollution or shining into the neighborhood, which is maybe part of sustainability a little bit. And that's about as far as they got. They were interested in heat pumps and maybe some other upgrades like that, but it would depend on the money that they raise, and the plans are not finished yet. So that was all he could share with me at the moment. Like mostly because I was going on leave and I just wanted to meet with him before that, but
Yeah, if anyone's interested, they're doing a kind of an informal presentation before the planning commission on Wednesday night, talking about their plans and their proposal.
Okay. Is there any,
Now, I would say Stephen is aware that SAB has a desire to see the plans once a special review use application has been submitted, but they're just not there yet.
is there anything being discussed about housing on that side? You know, there's the 13 units of affordable housing. DOT approved. And has it been decided where they're going to go? And it's like, would be ideal to have housing next to a daycare center.
So as you mean having housing on the same amount of land or on the same parcel of land? Well, there's multiple proposals before the BOT that the BOT is considering. One is the proposal that came from Teens Inc., which is the 99-year lease for $1 per year. But there are members of the BOT that want to actually engage in a land swap. In other words, we have made that commitment to Proposition 123. And if we go ahead and give the Old Town Shop, we get new explorers as a way to build out affordable housing, or at least because there's already a building on there, we could utilize that and build off of that to create more affordable housing. So that's an alternative proposal that's on the table. So it might not be that there's a daycare center plus affordable housing, or there's also been suggestions that if the daycare center does go in that piece of land, there are other parcels of land around that we could purchase through the funds through Proposition 123 and also phase 2 grants from the DOLA that we just finished the housing study. So we could access both those grants in order to purchase other pieces of parcels for affordable housing.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we should move on to other items.
Yeah.
You've touched on this a little bit, but for the record, I guess we, as the SAB, received a couple of emails regarding this site where Teens Inc. is proposing to build this daycare center. And these emails pertained to the, I guess, the riparian issues associated with the creek that runs through or adjacent to the property. And these emails, I think, took a very strong position on some of the ecological issues associated with this, and specifically requested that this board take a position at tomorrow's Board of Trustees meeting regarding these issues. So I think that we should at least discuss whether or not, I mean, I'm not really sure how helpful that would be to the board for us to do that. But since it's been suggested and requested by a member of the public, I think that we should discuss it. So I would open that up for discussion. Seeing no one all very eager to start, I will start. I would just say, I think that regardless of the merits of the arguments made in those emails, I think that it would be premature for us as a board to take a position. We just received these emails. I would have a lot of questions. If I were on the Board of Trustees and I received this information, I would have a lot of questions about it. So as a member of this advisory board, I'd have a lot of questions about it. For one, I would really want to know what permitting requirements are going to be imposed upon the developers, either by the Army Corps of Engineers or any other state or federal agency that would have jurisdiction over this. I would want to know what City of Boulder thinks about it, because it's going to impact their water supply, and they might have a issue with it. I would just want to know a lot more before I would want to have a mature, sound, considered opinion of the board, rather than sort of thinking, yeah, okay, what they're saying makes a lot of sense. We should say to the Board of Trustees, it makes a lot of sense. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think that Susan Wagner sends a lot of good information.
Yeah.
And she mentions in passing that Wayne Kettle of Green Willow Consulting and Ray Worthner of Peak Ecological Services viewed the area, and they seem to have an idea of potential improvements. I think that's something we need to have more information about, as well as the BOT. And at the same time, I don't think there's necessarily any incompatibility with development and the creek. And it sounds like, if the creek needs remediation, development could, in fact, provide some funding for them. So I think it's potentially very compatible and mutually inclusive goals to both develop and enhance the creek. But I don't know if we want to say what to the BOT to say, we consider this, we need a lot more information, and we don't see this as being incompatible necessarily, but we just need more information.
I agree. I think it's too early to take a stance on it and wait until there's more information.
Yeah, we don't even have a site plan. right now.
Exactly.
We don't,
Yeah.
we don't know where this building is going.
I think we're all in agreement then that this is a little bit premature for us to act upon, and I don't think we need to have a motion. Someone just joined?
No, it's my
Okay.
computer.
Okay.
Doing its own thing.
What, can I ask a question?
Sure.
What would I'm still new to the rights of nature. I came in the middle of
Yeah.
the process, but what would the impacts when that's adopted be on future development? Like, would there be some sort of review process tied to the rights of nature for any proposed development regardless?
As I read the ordinance that is going to be proposed,
It's resolution.
the resolution,
Yeah.
I do not see this creating any type of additional layer of bureaucracy or permitting required. The board, I guess, the Board of Trustees could always ask these
Sure.
guardians for their input on any issue. And the guardians can, I think, unsolicited, provide their input on an issue. But I think the answer is no. They don't need the approval or assessment as a legal matter to do any development.
And I think like what you had mentioned last week, because I know I just did the meeting minutes today. Miranda had mentioned that, we have the ability through rights of nature to, as Rich said, to consult, but we don't actually have jurisdiction over that part. And so that's something that we'll have to continuously, balance.
Anything else? Any other comments on this thing before we move on?
Well, I do think, I think we're going to be at that meeting.
Right, let's move on to that. Okay, there are numerous issues I think that pertain to this board at the meeting tomorrow night. One is the rights of nature resolution that is being considered by the board. I am planning on being there. Alan, are you planning on being there?
Probably going to.
Okay, I usually try to go in person. The other one I think is the car share issue, I think is going to be considered by the board. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that we need to jump up and say, hey, this is what we have to say. I think it's more along the lines if they have any questions or want to hear from us. It seems like they have a pretty full agenda.
That's just part of the budget conversation, correct?
right.
Yeah, so
We took it out of its own thing.
Good.
yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I was
So-
like, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it didn't make sense for it to be its own conversation when it's a part of the budget.
Right. So we could
Yeah.
take public comment during the
Right.
budget, absolutely, but
So we know when we're going to be on the agenda.
So rights of nature is the last thing,
What time do we estimate that to be?
9:30,
let's hope.
Okay.
I would say
10 o'clock.
anticipate between 9:30 and 10 o'clock.
Okay, well, I may then falling in depending on.
If you want,
Yeah.
I mean, we can I can shoot you a
Yeah.
text.
If it could either be text me,
Yeah,
please, and then
I'll make, do you have his number? Okay.
Okay.
And just let you know when we're coming up to
Okay.
that, because
Yeah,
I know how
text me.
grueling it is to
Yeah.
be sitting
I'll
on there.
text both of you when we get close.
That'd be awesome.
So those are the issues I see that pertain to us. And if there are any others, Miranda?
Not really. Housing needs assessment
Oh.
presentation, if y'all are interested, but tourism advisory board?
No, because you're not asking for
No.
a SAP.
I mean, there's lots of things you might be interested in as people,
Oh,
but
sure, but I mean,
nothing from a
Nothing
staff
requirement.
perspective.
the Board of Trustees
Yes.
want to hear from us as well.
Correct, yeah.
All right, that is really all I have. One other item is, like Alan, I have solar panels on my house. And one of the things that has happened since I got that is I'm often looking at the app that the company that built the solar panels gives me, and it not only tells me how much electricity the solar panels are generating, it tells me at any given point in time what the draw is on my house for power. And frankly, it has been shocking to me how much energy I'm drawing when I'm not even doing anything. Like in the middle of the night, it's like 0.4 kilowatts going into my house. And
Electric heat.
no,
So it's just all the devices and everything.
yeah, probably, I have security cameras.
Sure.
Blah, 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 right? And it seems to me that that is a lot of energy just being drawn really when nothing's happening. And I'm sure that people around the town have something similar. I mean, I can't imagine them all that different. I don't know if there's any organization or something that can come in and help people assess how they can reduce this sort of background electricity usage. That, someone could come in and say, well, unplug the cameras, that'll do this, that, and the other thing. I could experiment and start going unplugging stuff, but I don't know. I think it might be helpful to people if something exists that we can encourage, like that Excel thing where they come in and look at your weather stripping and stuff like that, to come in and look at your house and say, this is how you can save on background electricity usage.
Yeah, I've tried doing it on my own. The one thing that I think causes a fair amount of draw is either cable, dish, satellite.
Yeah.
Direct. It's that stuff. I don't want you unplugging.
Yeah.
Probably does that a lot.
Internet routers too, probably, things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have a high efficiency fridge?
Sorry.
Do you have a high efficiency refrigerator?
I have a refrigerator.
Is it running?
Well, and that's an interesting thing is I can sort of know how much that does because I can hear it turn on. And sometimes I look, how much did it go up when I hear that thing go on? And it's interesting, and now I know how much my TV uses and stuff like that because I can see. I don't know. I bet the town could use a lot less energy if we all sort of made that assessment. And if I don't know if there's anyone out there that does this. If there is, I think we should reach out to them.
That's a great idea. And when I visit my kids, they have everything plugged in all the time.
Yeah.
All these phone chargers in every room, computers, TVs, everything. I say, can we turn off some lights and unplug some of these phone chargers? Because they draw power. There's nothing plugged in.
Yeah.
You don't need to have your phone plugged in 24/7.
No,
In fact, it's not even good for the battery.
you had. a
Um,
suggestion.
Excel has like the home energy audits if
Yeah.
you're a customer, and I think it looks like they offer a rebate. I think it always changes, but
Yeah,
we could do
we-
some research between now and.
Yeah.
We have a credit too, where you can, it's like $50 off of the rebate, but I had that at my house and we weren't able to get to the granular details that you're talking
Yeah.
about. It was-
I had it done at my house too.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much just like weather stripping
Yep,
and things like, do you have double or triple pane windows and stuff?
Yeah.
Like basically any house like built since 1980 is gonna have all the stuff they want anyway, so.
I wonder if it's because the smart meters just don't necessarily have the granularity that they need to give you that kind of information.
Well, yeah,
You're
so,
just reading it on a daily or a monthly basis, and then they're just aggregating it over or averaging it over
Yeah.
that time period instead of like your panels do have like a constant reading.
right, So like, I can just tell you right now exactly how much my house is drawing. I can tell you at any minute during the day how much I'm generating. And it's really interesting. But I haven't gone to the trouble of going around unplugging everything. And I don't want to unplug my internet. If I unplug my internet, I don't think I'd get the information.
Right.
I think it goes through the internet and it comes back to me.
I saw a sheet a long time ago that had, average draw on certain things. Microwave ovens actually have a surprising
Oh, yeah.
background.
It's like 15 amps.
Yeah,
Well, when you're running, but
you just have it plugged in.
Yeah.
So I just keep ours unplugged.
yeah. All right, well, is there any other business that anybody has for this committee or board? I am hearing nothing. Therefore, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Well, I'll second it. Anyone opposed? The motion carries. The meeting is adjourned. It is 7:31 p.m.